wasn't actually here first time round when Occupy started. Ashamedly, it sounded like it was, well, I know it was absolutely incredible, and kind of feeding off of what other people were saying earlier, that, you know, I've been involved in grassroots activities across the country, and I didn't make it to Occupy, but you do see people from Occupy everywhere, and they really are continuing to make a difference, and it's great to see those faces here, and just to think about, if they're not necessarily here, they are all over the country making change happen. So I'm here to talk a little bit about what we're doing towards Paris as Global Justice Now, and as a coalition of different organisations and grassroots groups as well. Global Justice Now have been around for about 40 years, campaigning on various different things. We used to be the World Development Movement, and we used to kind of campaign specifically on development issues. We've kind of moved away from that now, and as part of that, and over the last few years, we've been campaigning on climate change, and seeing that it's very much an issue which does very much affect those in the Global South. You see that the poorest in the world are on the front lines when it comes to actually feeling the effects of climate change. So it's a really important issue for us at Global Justice Now. We think that, you know, the next big thing when it comes to climate is obviously the negotiations in Paris, but we don't expect much to come out of that, unfortunately. As the previous speakers have said, it's been massively corporate captured. Our governments are captured by corporations. They're in the hands of the fossil fuel companies. Really, they don't want to move away from a reliance on fossil fuels, and they're not going to. They're going to commit to very small commitments, which they may not actually act on in the long run. So, but we still want to go to Paris. We think it's a really important moment to mobilise as grassroots activists, as movements from all over the world. This is going to be an international event, so there will be a lot of activists, really brilliant international activists from those front lines that I was talking about earlier. That will be there, so it'll be a chance to meet with those people, hear what they've got to say. You don't get that kind of experience every day. And yeah, to build a stronger international movement against climate change and the fossil fuel sector, and to build a stronger European movement as well. So that's why we're going. It's a great moment. We think it's really important if people could come along. That'd be great. We're trying to facilitate that as well. So what Global Justice Now have done, along with Friends of the Earth, is that we've subsidised some tickets to get us to Paris. The main event in Paris, as far as we're concerned, is the 12th. It's at the end of the negotiations, because we want to be there as civil society saying the climate negotiations have failed. This is where it starts. Exactly as the previous speakers were saying, 2016 is actually the start of something. It's not the end of our campaigns on climate change. It's actually the start of something really big. We need to use Paris as a springboard into that future. And so that's going to start on the 12th of December, at the very end of the negotiations. We as Global Justice Now are doing trains, which leave on the 11th, so put it in the diaries, come back on the 13th. You get reduced fares, it's cheaper than the Eurostar if you go through us or Friends of the Earth. Closer still? Okay, cool. So it's cheaper through us than it would be through the Eurostar, so come along. We also Reclaim the Power, running coaches which are even cheaper, much more subsidised, they're like 20 quid return. So, and they're going for a longer period as well. So if you want to get involved in what's happening before, then go with them. And so what is happening before? There's a lot actually happening in Paris, and not everyone knows what exactly is happening, but I'm just trying to see if I've got the flyer that is here from Reclaim the Power. But if you haven't seen it, there it is. Do pick up one of those, so that really kind of explains it, and I can actually use this as some crib notes. 1 minute left, okay. So, what's happening before in Paris? The weekend before the 12th, there's a Citizens Summit for Climate in East Paris, which is a village of alternatives. It's a kind of forum to showing off the real alternatives to the fossil fuel industry, and there'll be speakers there as well. Throughout the week before as well, from the 7th to the 11th, there's going to be a climate action zone, which will be about celebrating creativity and its importance around campaigning for or against climate change. And then, as I said, there's the big thing on the 12th. And the climate games is something that's really exciting as well. It's a unique way to participate in direct action and to have fun whilst you do it in a kind of gamification of direct action, which sounds quite exciting. That's going to be on the 11th and the 12th. So again, very near the end. Those coaches and the trains I was talking about earlier will get you there for that. Check that out online as well, that's climategames.net. Again, you can check it out, all that stuff that I was talking about online with Reclaim the Power or Global Justice Now or Friends of the Earth. So, thank you.
Just to say, we'll have a session after this where you can go and talk to Sam, or you can go and talk to other people who are organising concrete actions in Paris, or before or after Paris, and go and have a chat with them about that.